All right, everybody, and welcome back to the High Ground. I'm Reed.
I'm Matt.
Once Matt finishes his drink. Before we jump in today, there's something, call it, I need to spend less time on social media, but the whole use of AI is getting a lot bigger nowadays, to the extent where you can have a lot of fun with it. You can, a lot of people use it to cheat on, high school papers. A lot of people use it just for a gimmick once in a while. One I keep seeing, one that really just irritates the living piss out of me, is fake either movie posters, movie trailers, or movie ideas that people will post. And if you're really a big fan of some of these actors, actresses, whatever, you suddenly get a little bit excited. Wait a minute, they're making another one of those, or oh shit, that'd be a really good movie. And then you learn about 10 seconds later, wait a minute, it's actually just fake, made up, and is not a thing. And you just spend the rest of the day annoyed, depressed, and pissed off. But I digress. But funny enough, we came across one that kind of piqued our interest today. Matt, would you feel free to tell everybody what it's about?
Well, my lovely wife, Minda, she sent me a screenshot the other day. The title of the movie was Buds. On the title screen, it was Adam Sandler on the left, Jim Carrey on the right. That's going to pique any comedy fan's interest right there. Those two, they're living legends. You'd be hard-pressed to find any two comedians that's had a bigger impact on cinema than those two men right there, at least in our lifetimes. The premise of the movie was Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler were going to run a weed dispensary in New York. And that was all the information I got from the initial post that I saw. So, Reed, I have to ask, even though we know it's fake, do you think, and we're gonna add in Will Ferrell. I'm not sure if he was originally added into that script or not, but we're going to go legends. And those three are the pinnacle of cinematic comedy right there. There's no three better people. Are those three styles too much for a single film? What do you think?
Well, let me take half a step back first off and just say that I think that one, yes, that one was a major disappointment in learning that it's not a thing, just given the fact that I think Jim Carrey's kind of winding down his career. You don't see, he's kind of keeps saying he's going to retire. Adam Sandler's still pretty active, still pretty busy, even though he's leaning toward a little more towards stand up. And I think Will Ferrell, not quite as much as Jim Carrey, but you've kind of seen his work not be as frequent in the last couple of years. But I think that would just be. I think it'd be its own brand of comedy, just because there's three very distinct styles at work. You have Jim Carrey, which is a lot more of the wild and crazy man. He's a lot more catchphrase. He's a lot more. He's his own brand of comedy. Then you have Sandler, who's been doing it. They've all been doing it seemingly forever. But then you have Sandler, who, I mean, what can you really say about the guy? He's like I said, I think I might have mentioned in a previous episode, to me, he's literally the Taylor Swift of comedy. The fact that he's dipped into so many different avenues, he really has his own thing, and he just keeps on going. And it's, he's really one for the record books. And then
despite the criticism he's gotten in his career, he just seems to shake it off.
Despite a few flops, Fun with Dick and Jane, I want to say there's probably at least one more, and I'm sure it'll come to us later. But
Jack
okay. Did I say Dick and Jane? That's Jim Carrey. Yeah, that wasn't Jack.
Yeah,
Jack and Jill.
I knew what you meant. And that Hubie movie was just so fucking stupid. Way worse than Jack and Jill, I think.
Never actually saw it, but it won't be at the top of my list. But see, that's the thing about him. It's like he'll do a bunch of good ones, and he'll have one that just completely flops. But then the very next one is back to his original, back to gold. So it's not. So maybe it's as a artist, he just takes chances once in a while. And that's something regardless of what you feel about the guy. You got to respect, because everything's just a remake or just a reboot nowadays.
Yep, for sure.
But then you have Will Ferrell, who once again has been around for a long time. He kind of has his own brand, and I guess if you really had to describe it or try to boil it down, it's I guess in a way, self-deprecating humor? Is that the right word for it? Where a lot of his comedy is like, it's kind of making fun of himself. It's kind of doing things that where other people make fun of him, but it's funny. It's, I
I'd say
mean,
about 50-50, for
yeah.
sure.
And granted, there's a lot of overlap with these three. They all, kind of do. There's a little bit of overlap, but I think at the end of the day, they all bring something very unique to the table. And to kind of get in a very roundabout way, get back to your question, I really feel like putting them on the same screen together would be groundbreaking thing in comedy. To where, you know, there's a decent part of me that thinks it'd be just like them making the Expendables movie, where they just they spent 3/4 of the budget just to hire the actors, then the story ends up being complete shit. But you don't really pay you don't really pay the movie ticket for the story. You pay to see them interact and bounce off each other and improv off each other, and you go to it knowing that you're just going for a laugh.
So I will have to stop you there and rebuke a couple of those statements. One, all the Expendable movies were badass, storyline included.
Most recent one,
You can kiss all their high-paid asses. Those are good movies. Very well done, and I like the scripts. They had a good amount of comedy, good amount of action, mostly all action, but they had some good humor mixed in with the action. It was a good solid mix. And then getting back to the three comedians we're talking about, they all have a very almost identical, in my opinion, comedy style. A little bit raunchy, vastly over the top in a good way. They all make noises, like their little iconic sounds. They all have
sure.
good catchphrases that everyone can quote. Everyone that's ever watched a Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell, or Adam Sandler movie, they quote the shit out of those movies because of the catchphrases, because of the sounds, because of the over top, raunchy style of comedy. And that's why I ask: are their style of comedies too much to combine in one movie? Would one of them have to change styles a little bit to play maybe a more serious role or some other style of role? Could you have all three of those guys playing their standard roles? The Happy Gilmore, Ace Ventura,
Ricky Bobby.
Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby role. Would that be too much? But when you add in a dispensary aspect, is it still too much?
Well, you got to think. I mean, think back to something like Grown Ups, where and granted, yeah, he's worked with them all before, kind of in minor roles here and there, but Sandler kind of slowly built his group to in more recent he's had like the same 4 or 5 guys forever, but then in more recent years, when I say recent, I'm talking like 10 years ago by now, but he slowly started integrating like Chris Rock, Kevin James, Terry Crews, some ones that are later additions, but they all found a way to kind of mesh into that same style where once again they all played off each other. And
What
so
movie was Terry Crews in?
he was in he's been in most of his more recent ones. He was in Blended, he was in Grown Ups. He
We talking
played
about Terry Crews, the big black guy?
yeah. Remember Blended?
Wasn't that in like 2016?
No, he's also he was in the most recent Grown Ups. He's a bus driver or something. Or was he a bus driver? Was he a bus? He was something.
Shaq
No,
Shaq was in a couple, I think.
Shaq was there, yeah. But I'm we can look it up later, but I'm pretty sure he was there. But he's also Ridiculous Six. He was in that one with Sandler.
Blended was in 2014. Yes, Terry Crews was in it.
Like I said, Ridiculous Six. That's another one. What's else off the top of my head?
Yeah, that one's been a minute. I only watched that one once. I don't have a good take on that one.
There's enough where I think it's notable. It's okay.
Well, Jennifer Aniston's been in several lately.
Yeah,
and
then
obviously Drew Barrymore comes and goes throughout his career.
She does, and they always manage to whatever character. I mean, in a weird way, they almost play the exact same characters. I mean, it's kind of
they're always in love.
Always in movies, and it's never redoing the same thing. They're able to keep that same dynamic, but it's always fresh. There's not anything that's like, oh, they're doing this bit again, or oh, this is same old, same old. They're able to kind of reinvent it.
Here's a random question since we're talking about Drew Barrymore. Who's more famous singing Love Hurts? Billy Idol or Adam Sandler?
I think you got the wrong song. It's not. It wasn't Love Hurts. It was Love Stinks, and that wasn't even done by Billy Idol. I don't think
That's right.
it might have been.
You
It's a
sure?
song, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was Billy Idol. You have to look that one up.
Love Stinks, direct song. Jay Giles Band. Sound right?
You got me. Yeah, heard it on the radio. Would have never guessed the name of the band.
I'm looking at the lyrics. Definitely it. Jay Giles Band.
Well, and I think, like I said before, I think Sandler in more recent years has gone back to more like stand up comedy. Like he's got his Netflix specials. The show me and you went to, which was it's very interesting to see him in that kind of stand up role because it's still him, but he's able to get more raunchier on stage because it's as opposed to most of his movies are more. Let's just say they're more family friendly than say his stand up routine is. I think that's fair enough to say.
As of lately, yes, most of his movies have been more oriented towards families. He did have that. That's My Boy. That was following
Yeah.
a more traditional Adam Sandler raunchy style comedy, which I think is his bread and butter. I wish he'd go back to that, stick with it. That's gold to me. Maybe we just are nostalgic.
Probably at this point. See, it's not exactly reached the age of old yet, but it's more like, oh, they don't quite do it like they used to anymore. That's kind of different now. I kind of wish they'd go back to this. I think that's a mindset and age we're at right now. We're not quite back in my day. Not
No,
quite
I
there.
would argue that those movies are considered old. We don't consider them old because we're getting old. They
Yeah,
are old movies. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer, they're old. There's
yeah, but
no
you got to think
sidestepping it. They're old.
to any kid nowadays, anything from they call it the late 1900s. It's not 1990 anymore. Oh, you were born in the late 1900s? I mean,
You're
technically,
bullshitting
yes.
me.
No, I'm
They
not.
actually say this shit. Do you call them post 9/11 fuckers? Or post 9/11 bastards?
Most of them are post after I graduated fuckers at this point.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there you go. Let that sink in for a minute. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to the potential of these three shooting a movie together. I mean, I think it would be one of those. Once again, you would just go you just go to watch them play off each other. It's kind of like what they did with Marvel. So, yeah, they slowly brought all these actors together, but then you get to see Robert Downey Jr. interacting with Benedict Cumberbatch, or all these oh, how would he play off of him? How would this the banter back and forth? It'd be the same thing with those three. And like I said, I think they bring their own special something to the table to where nobody else but them can do it. And it goes without saying they'd have to be the ones writing and producing everything. It couldn't be anybody else. They couldn't really get inside anybody else's head for that.
You sparked a good idea there. Bringing up Marvel. Would there be a avenue for the three of them to have their own isolated movies where maybe even the other two make like random cameo appearances that don't even really make sense, like almost like Stan Lee used to do in all his Marvel movies?
Sure.
What if the three of them did three separate movies, one each, um, their own storylines, their own characters, their own scripts, but then it gets tied into the movie Buzz, where maybe the three are having financial troubles going post COVID, business is slow, they merge into one large conglomerate, and that's where the movie starts. Is the three businesses starting to falter, and they merge into one. I mean, that's an easy way to get three times more money. You have three separate movies that eventually then tie into a fourth movie. And I think it would maybe even build the anticipation and build the kind of like what the Avengers did. You waited so many years watching Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, that when the Avengers finally came together, it was very well anticipated. Everybody was waiting for it. Could you do the same thing with this?
Yeah, but I would amend the idea just a little bit. I would argue that the better way to do that is to take movies they've already done And somehow in the weirdest storyline ever, they all find each other in the same movie. So you got Ace Ventura out doing some random Ace Ventura shit. You got Ricky Bobby having retired from racing or something, and then you got Billy Madison with Billy Madison somehow has his dad's money still. He ends up buying Ricky Bobby's race team where that he's
I'm
coaching
glad
his
you
kid.
say that. I was getting ready to cut you off to make sure you used Billy Madison. But maybe I would even argue instead of Ricky Bobby, I forgot my train of thought.
I wouldn't say Step Brothers. It was a great movie, but there was too much. It was too balanced between him and John C. Riley that you would have to bring him in too for it to make sense.
Who?
John C. Riley.
Who the hell's John C. Riley?
You're kidding me.
Oh yeah. No. I'm thinking Seth Rogen in my head. My fault.
No, you got me
I'm
worried
thinking
for a
Seth
second.
Rogen. Well, I have Seth Rogen on my screen right now, so I'm staring right at him.
Yeah, Rogan would be too much. Yeah, you gotta keep him out of this particular. But no, I mean,
he
okay.
does the pot role. Like that is his role.
For the first one, okay, maybe have him like a cameo or a small part, but don't make him a main character. Throw him in there somewhere as like a random side character.
So I'm saying if you're gonna bring him in, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell, they're the three owners of the dispensary, and have your random cameos, more than just one, but several different cameos throughout the movie where Seth Rogen is your supplier. He just comes in, he makes a couple funny jokes, and he's gone for a while.
It'd almost be like doing that movie Horrible Bosses, but instead of those three, you put in these three, and it'd be a weird, similar interaction story. But once again, I mean, if you could make it a standalone, or you could, in some weird twisted universe that somebody wrote, somewhere of all their three former characters found each other in this, and I feel like one of those. Yes, you have to go into it accepting the fact that it's going to be campy, it's going to be ridiculous, but you go to enjoy it regardless. You don't go there to take it seriously.
It's not really the story that's the point. It's the humor, the jokes, the
just
interaction
the
that you're going for.
Yeah, just the
so
fun.
I've been staring at the names. I got to get the names out there that I'm seeing on screen.
Oh, God.
Adam Sandler, he's playing Marty Buds Bernstein. Not Berenstain like the fucking Bears used to be. Everybody knows it.
They changed
All
it?
the experts agree. It used to be the Berenstains. Now it's the Bernsteins.
I'll take your word for it.
Jim Carrey, he's Danny Dimes DeMarco. Will Ferrell plays Chuck the Strain Brain Walker. I'll read the descriptions real quick. Marty Bubs Berenstein, the laid-back but business-savvy owner of Bud's, a legendary weed shop in Brooklyn. Danny Dimes, the eccentric high-energy co-owner who comes up with wild marketing schemes. And then Chuck Walker, the shop's resident cannabis expert and self-proclaimed some big-ass word I can't pronounce.
There's a lot of those, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a couple.
I feel like the creators had to dial back on those names. It's like I feel like I was lost by the second one. It's like, what the fuck did you just say his name was? It's like they have
Danny Dimes. You got Danny Dimes, Marty Buds. So they're going by their nickname. You got Buds, Dimes, and Strain Brain.
Strain Brain.
Brain. Chuck the Strain Brain Walker.
Okay, so it's a nickname.
That could be revised.
Okay. I'm sure there's a story behind that would naturally get put into it. But yeah, I mean overall, I mean they're all still able to do it. I could see. I don't know. It's like you don't see a whole lot of overlap. Like you think back, and it's like when you don't really think of like one having been in another's movie, even like a brief role. It might be something out there, but once again, these three very distinct avenues to where they'd all have to come together and like, look, here's something that could be fun. What the hell? Let's just do it, even if we don't, make millions off it. Even though they probably would.
Yeah, they would. As far as I know, Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler have never been in a movie together, right?
Not that I can think of, no.
Any idea why? Any thoughts as to why?
I mean, we can obviously go back and look, but I mean, there's like secondary overlap. So you think, what was it? Early on in his career, he did. Is it not Airheads? Something where Sandler was like in a rock band with Brendan Fraser and Steve Buscemi was another one in the band. Where you had Steve Buscemi and
How old? We're talking 80s?
no, this is like I want to say it's like early '90s. This is like one of his first movies. Or I thought there's some crossover with Steve Buscemi, but I could be wrong. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I'm sure there's like some, what's the game? 7 Ways to Kevin Bacon or something to where, oh, this person was in this one, that leads to this one, that was in this one. I'm sure there's some connection. I mean, the comedy world is too small for, there not to be some overlap, but directly, no, I don't think there's any correlation, which is why this, it kind of come out of left field and I think be something worth watching.
Yeah, it would. But you don't think the three styles would simply just be too much?
I think it would take a decent amount of time and effort to do it correctly, as opposed to just something that seems like it's thrown together. But I think it could work in a way that I think could I tell you how it's going to work now? No, but I would be looking forward to be pleasantly surprised.
Who would you prefer to be the balancer? You have two people keeping their standard comedy style. The third being the balancer, balancing out the two different comedies, kind of almost bridging the gap, but kind of bringing it kind of back to reality and mellowing things out a little bit. Obviously, you can't have all three being ridiculous. You need somebody to
Right.
kind of balance that out. Which of the three would you prefer balance that out?
Well, that's where I think Sandler would come in because he's already done this in the past with a lot of big names around him, and he's found that kind of way to do exactly what you're describing. And I think the other two would respect him enough to be able to like say, "Hey, okay, how do you think this works best?" Just because I think out of the three of them, I think he would be the most experienced in trying to at least having previously worked with something like that.
Okay, that's fair point. Fair point. I probably would agree with that. I don't know if I would want to see that. So, of the three, which is your favorite comedian?
Ugh.
That's a tough one.
Honestly, I'd say initially it's apples to oranges, but okay, as far as ones I've rewatched the most out of just the sheer, you know what's okay, this sounds good to have something I feel like watching or something that can always make me laugh. It, damn, it's really honestly it's a tie between Sandler and Farrell because yes, I can sit there and watch Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore on repeat, but then I've sat down and watched Talladega Nights and Step Brothers more times than I can count, and
Yeah.
it's in all honesty. As far as just preference of movies, I got to say it's a dead tie for me between those two. No disrespect to Jim Carrey. What about you?
Jim Carrey's problem is volume. Will Ferrell and Adam Sandler just mass produced really high quality comedies.
Yeah.
To where Carrey has been more sparse. It's not every 2 years. It's a hit. There really hasn't been anything in a long time out of him. In fact, I can't think of the last Jim Carrey movie there actually was, and when it was, and what it was. And when you think back on Jim Carrey movies, the movies that most come to mind, Ace Ventura, which there's two of, but most people, at least the people I know, would consider when they think of Ace Ventura, they're thinking When Nature Calls. They'll say Pet Detective, but when they start describing the movie, they're describing When Nature Calls.
Well, yeah. Well, so for us, I would say it's Ace Ventura. However, I think for the next step generation just after us, it had to be The Grinch Stole Christmas because that's one of those.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good call.
That's solidified itself as a Christmas movie right up there with like Frosty and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, no. Jim Carrey's Grinch is the pinnacle of Christmas movies. That's something that I would be shocked ever gets surpassed. Because that was done to perfection, absolute perfection. The casting, perfect. Jim Carrey was born to play the Grinch. And that was just a masterpiece of all the of all the movies the three have done, I'd say The Grinch is probably the most perfectly done movie for the person.
It's one of those that's right around those months of the year. That's if it hasn't been played at least 10 times by the time the holidays are over, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, no matter how much you watch it, it just is always funny and it remains a classic.
And once again, there's points that are extremely goofy, over the top, and you accept the fact that it is, and you still enjoy it regardless. And that's what I really think that
but they're well timed.
Well, yeah, and it's not dated either. It's okay, sure, some of the graphics or special effects, sure, it's dated, but it's like it's not. It's shit that was made like what, early 2000s.
I know, but it's a Dr. Seuss movie too, so
that's true too.
It's supposed to be like that. Like, no, it doesn't matter how old it gets. It's supposed to look like it does. Yeah, that might be one of the most perfect movies for a specific character, for sure. And that's saying something because Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore are just outstanding. I mean, I like Talladega Nights myself probably more than Step Brothers, even though that's one of the all time greats. Maybe even more than Talladega Nights.
So Step Brothers is with me a lot, just because that was my entire senior year of high school. Like I was playing soccer. It's like that was literally like we sucked ass. We couldn't win a single fucking game, but we could sure
fucking Raspberry.
My senior year soccer was nothing but just fucking around and doing Step Brothers quotes back and forth and calling our coach, I'm calling him Dad, even if there's a fire.
What you gonna? Well, actually, I was gonna skip back to another movie. Then what you gonna call me then?
All right, Professor Dickweed.
Yeah, there's so many good quotes between those three. Real quick, name a Jim Carrey quote from a movie.
It's
a little bit harder.
It's party time. PART. Why? Because I got it.
Chicago.
Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. We love you.
Would you argue that's outside of The Grinch? That's probably his best movie.
It's hard to dispute it. And then I used to sit there when I was taking attendance as a teacher, like looking at. All right, let's see who's here today. Hate, double hate, loathe entirely. Oh shit. The show's going great so far. It's going really good. Audio is amazing. The audio input's doing great. I got my whole Mayamo. I don't know what. Can't name the brand of the company, but doing a hell of a job. Mono, whatever. Pretty good sound quality. Took me probably about a week and a half to work out all the bells and whistles, but it's coming through great for us. I think it's working really well with the show. How about you over there, Matt? What are you drinking today?
Well, I'm gonna stick with Old Faithful. Good old fashioned Voodoo Ranger. This brand is Blaze Lightning IPA. It's one of their newer flavors. It's tasting champion.
Flickering in and out of existence.
Hey,
remember the movie Hot Tub Time Machine?
I do. This is a cloaking can. It's their new invention. They just didn't know they did it.
You got that Chernobyl.
7.3 alcohol content. That could be a little bit higher, Voodoo Ranger. Just saying. But taste, delicious. Not enough alcohol, though. We need to pump that up to 9.
Those of us here at the High Ground encourage you to drink responsibly.
And a lot. Here at the High Ground, we encourage you to drink a lot responsibly.
But stay classy.
All right, let's get back to it.
I might have to start wrapping this up here in a minute. I got to get back upstairs.
Yep. Who would you like to see make an appearance in the movie Buds if it came into fruition? And what role would they play?
So it'd be I think the only other name you could put in there that'd be a main character might be some kind of antagonist, to where, okay, like somebody's trying to shut them down, somebody's trying to run them out of business, to where, okay, you have one other big name in there that's kind of serving as that, okay, thing that moves the plot forward. But then I think for the rest, I think if there's many basically random 2 to 5 second cameos as you can completely pump in there of every comedic name you could think of, because I feel like any of them would say, oh yeah, you want me to be in Sandler's movie? You want me to be in Carrey's movie? Yeah, I'll be in for like 10 seconds, sure. And that's when you throw in the random Joe Rogans, you throw in a Jerry Seinfeld, you throw in, Dave Chappelle, you throw in Dane Cook, even though he's getting old as fuck.
So I have two very, very important people that I would almost require be in this movie. If you're looking for an antagonist, you only have one choice. You have the dispensary across the street, ran by Snoop Dogg. There's no other choice. It's got to be Snoop Dogg. And
hang on. Snoop Dogg with his partner Willie Nelson.
Bingo. But on top of that, you got to have the pimp Cat Williams on the corner, getting into trouble.
Throw in the Broken Lizard cast as well.
I think we're getting expensive now on the casting budget.
Oh, come on!
I would think any movie involving dispensaries or weed or anything like that, you got to have an appearance by Snoop. You almost, if you're gonna go all in, throw in the Cat Williams as a pimp. That's his best role, pimping it up. And then, like I said earlier in the video, I'd like to see Seth Rogen make random appearances, not just a single, but throughout the movie, have him pop in as perhaps a supplier. He's supplying both sides.
Sure.
Maybe Snoop and Will Ferrell and all them get into a conflict, and Seth Rogen is the moderator between the two. You can do something like that. I think that'd be. And Willie Nelson, obviously, is the chill guy playing the music in the background, not giving a fuck about nothing. He's just chilling.
Honestly, the possibilities are endless, and I guarantee at least half of that list that we just named off would probably just do it for free, just for the fun. For a quick, a half a day's worth of work, and I get to go have fun with these guys. Most of them do something like that anyway. They go sit in a green room at a comedy club and just sit there and bullshit. So
important to the movie, who's the female character? That's a much harder question. I can't really think of too many female actresses that are known for their pot smoking role. Never mind, Aubrey Plaza. It's got to be, because she's got that weird, almost cynical sense of humor that I think would just play well into any situation she's put into. I'm saying Aubrey Plaza, and she's smoking hot.
Make her Jim Carrey's daughter. And then, for their for a random couple seconds of their wives, randomly throw in obviously Sandler's wife, since she's in all his movies anyway. Then, but
I thought that was a given.
Throw in a Drew Barrymore as for a 30-second bit, to where she's bitching him out on the phone, but you get a quick cut to her just so you can see that it's her and recognize she's there, and that's
see. Oh, here's one that neither one of us thought about.
What's that?
She was in Dazed and Confused. You want to name the character?
Dazed and Confused.
Actually, I got two really good ones.
I've seen it twice in my life, and I'm drawing a blank.
Mila Djokovic from Resident Evil. She played a pothead female character in Dazed and Confused. Here's the second one on this list I just looked up. Mila Kunis. Why not throw in an Ashton Kutcher too? Why not? Have almost like a throwback That 70s Show reference. They can come in and play their own characters. I think that'd be fucking hilarious. No, they come in as Jackie and Kelso.
Hang on. Have them randomly come in and make some offhand comment. Hey, do you still do that? Nah, I haven't done that since the 70s. And then have like a 10-second bit where it does the That 70s Show pan around with just like Sandler, Carrey, and Ferrell, and then that's it. That's. I feel like that would be enough to that would be That'd be satisfying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be. Oh, if you're gonna do that, you have one single random appearance from Chong,
Peach.
Tommy Chong.
They're both still alive. Bring both.
But Tommy Chong was the only one ever in that '70s show. You can put Cheech in there at some way, but he doesn't do much with weed roles anymore because he quit smoking like
That's fair.
a decade or two ago.
I still feel like you do it for the comedy value, though.
He might,
Even if he's not directly doing it.
With Cheech, you only have one single 5-10 second
Sure.
cameo, and that's in that '70s circle role where you don't even know he's there. They just pan around to the characters you do know are present, and then just randomly he's in a fucking circle, says some iconic line, and then you never hear from him again in the movie. I think that'd be genius.
Bring him in the same bit that you see Willie Nelson. He'd be Willie Nelson's brother. Oh yeah.
Well, honestly, Willie Nelson's probably a little too old for that role, anyways. Maybe we just flat out replace him for Cheech.
Okay, do a circle for Sandler's crew, and then 5 minutes later have the guys across the street at Snoop's Distillery doing the exact same thing, except you got Tommy Chong and his brother Willie Nelson and Snoop. Hey, do you think we should get back to work? We're at work. Oh man, I didn't even get here, man.
Yeah, that'd be genius. We got to post this video just to make sure we can get some royalties from this movie.
I lost your video. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, my phone just gave me a warning, so.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we got to wrap this up. I got to get back upstairs.
Yep, same.
Well, that'll about do it for this episode of The High Ground. Please check us out on social media, everything from YouTube to Instagram, TikTok, and, of course, X.com.
And stay nerdy, stay knowledgeable.
And as always, take the high ground.